The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. And we will also get to the skill game brought to you by Sleeper a little bit later on in the show for this Commanders Madrid matchup versus the Miami Dolphins. But before we do that, a couple of items to get to for the Commanders heading into this game. First thing up, Ben Sinnott. We talked about him on the injury report along with Jordan McGee as two guys that were questionable going into the game that had some injuries flare up. With McGee, it was his knee. With Sinnott, it was his ankle. Never want to see guys show up on the injury report later in the week abruptly. That's never a good sign. Both were questionable. We said we'd keep an eye on those two second-year players. Well, one of them has already been ruled out of the game, and that is Ben Sinnott. Now, I don't want to make a big deal out of this because Ben Sinnott doesn't have a massive role, or impact on the game on a weekly basis anyway. I mean, yeah, sure, he blocks, plays some special teams. That's cool. That's fine and dandy, but that's not what you expect from a second-round pick. So it's not like he was going to have a massive role in this game anyway. However, you still want him out there. You still want the opportunity for him to catch the football like he did last week for a touchdown to exist, and that can't happen if he's not on the field. So he won't be playing in this game due to an ankle injury. The guess is it's not a significant ankle injury, being that you're about to hit your bye week after this game. The hope is he'll be back by the Denver Broncos game when everyone else is supposed to be back, apparently, for the Week 13 matchup on Sunday Night Football versus the Broncos. So we'll see if he can get back on the field by then, but he will not be playing in this game versus the Dolphins in Madrid. And that sucks, However, I've been trying to explain to you guys the thought process of one Dan Quinn, right? And how he's trying to win, and he should be trying to win. Again, I think a lot of you feel like I'm trying to insinuate that the team should just start trying to actively lose games by playing young players. No, we're already getting our brains bashed in. You should put the young guys in. They're going to play hard. It's not like they're going to make even more mistakes than the veterans. The veterans are cutting up. The veterans got us losing by 3 touchdowns every week. So what difference does it make? That's my stance. Not, hey, just throw in the towel on the season, play the young guys. Who cares about the outcome? No. The outcome has already been decided. We're getting our teeth kicked in every week. So why not let the young guys get some experience while you're getting your teeth kicked in? That has been my stance. But I told you, that's not going to come to fruition. I don't know if at all this season, but especially not until the team is mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Again, that's the way it should be. As fans, we overreact and we tend to go to the, end of the spectrum, right? The opposite ends of the spectrum. When we win, we're excited. Everything is great. When we lose, the sky's falling. But this is a 5-game losing streak, and 4 of them have been by 21 points or more. We get that this thing isn't going to be turned around this season. However, someone, and the people advocating for younger guys to get in the game, guilty as charged, but I understand it's not happening. And I'm trying to explain that to you all. And some people still want to see young guys get an opportunity. And what did I tell you? I said, they're not going to play younger guys. And a great example of that, someone said, put Donovan Edwards in the game. And I said, bro, listen to me. If anything happens to any of our running backs, if they have to go into their reserve to pull a running back off of the practice squad, it won't be Donovan Edwards. It's going to be Chase Edmonds. Hey, would you look at that? I don't like to toot my own horn. Psych. Toot, toot. I literally said this to somebody. It had to be like 3-4 shows ago, where they're at the very end. I was getting off, and he was like, "They should put Donovan Edwards out there." And I'm like, "Bro, they're not putting Donovan Edwards out there. Not before Chase Edmonds." Well, would you look at that? Today, the Commanders made a couple of transactional moves heading into Sunday's contest, as they customarily do. And one of those moves was elevating running back Chase Edmonds from the practice squad. Now, I don't know if this is a sign of something being wrong with Chris Rodriguez. Remember, he was dealing with the shoulder. He's not on the injury report. And Dan Quinn was pretty adamant that he was going to play. So I don't know if this is an indictment on anybody in the running back room in particular, as much as it is we need another guy on special teams. And maybe Chase Edmonds can return kickoffs for you, because remember, you have no Luke now. And I don't think they want to put Debo back there like they had to last week. So maybe this is more of that, right? Chase Edmonds gives you a guy you can put back on kickoffs, another body on special teams that can run down, make some tackles. And also, because of Ben Sinnott being out, you also can throw the football to him out of the backfield if you feel like you need another guy back there, from a running back perspective. But, we'll see if it has any bearings on the running back position. Like, I don't want this taking any opportunities away from Bill, right? Like, you want to cut into C-Rod or J-Max opportunities, go ahead. Don't touch Bill's opportunities, however many they may be. They could be cutting them back just based off of his performance. And may be down to like 10, touches or whatever. Don't cut into Bill's touches, whatever you do. You want to cut into somebody else's reps, knock yourself out, leave Bill's alone, please. But Chase Edmonds will be activated. Told you. Don't look for the youngins, man. Look for the veterans, the wily old KG veterans, to be brought up here to try to help this team win. Trey Hawkins being brought up from the practice squad as well. I like this young corner out of ODU getting an opportunity. We're definitely thin at the cornerback position. I'm so glad to see them bring him up. I'm assuming Antonio Hamilton Sr. will be up as well. But you can do a lot worse than him. So I won't be, as upset. But good to see Trey Hawkins getting an opportunity. And something very noticeable via its absence here. No Ale Cajo this week. So, again, let's see. Now, I shouldn't say that because it wouldn't be here. Tomorrow will be the telling point. No Ale Cajo this week. Did you see how much they fined Ale Cajo for his hit last week that took him out of the game? Jeez Louise. Maybe this, you know what? It's probably not Ale's first time, because remember, he tried to kill himself against the Falcons earlier this season. So they probably fined him for that hit. They fined him again against Detroit. It was like $43,000. Keep in mind, this man's salary is probably somewhere in the 700, 800, 900, K range. Like 43,000 is like a massive chunk of this man's salary. Yikes. Anyway, I digress. We got to keep an eye on if Kane Medrano is active tomorrow. So I told you guys, let's keep an eye on Ben Sinnott and Jordan McGee. McGee is probably going to be fine, I'm hoping. They would have ruled him out already if they felt, like they did about Ben. So if out of the two guys that could have possibly missed this game, the one guy that we were like, if he misses, is Ben Sinnott. So we're not really tripping about that. Really want to see Jordan McGee out there, obviously. But if Kane Medrano can't be active in the absence of Ale Cajo, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. Then we're starting to charter into Dominique Hampton territory. If he can't be active, he should be active tomorrow. All right. He should be active tomorrow. Kane Medrano should be active tomorrow. And if he can't be, SpaghettiOs. We got a problem on our hands. All right. So we should see the inactives list tomorrow, and K. Madrano's name should not be on it. His name should not be on it. And I'm going to be interested to see if there's any running back names up there. You can carry 4 running backs. They just haven't done it all season long. So it'll be interesting to see if they, decide to do that. I shouldn't say that. I don't think there was. I think they did 4 running backs early in the season, because I think C-Rod, Bill, J-Mac, and Austin Eckler were all active in those first 2 games. And then I think they just haven't had 4 running backs since Eckler's injury. So this will be the first time I think they've carried 4 since that injury. Anyhow, I digress. All right, let's get to the skill game, brought to you by Sleeper. Let's see if we can't make some shrewd moves here. Be honest with you, this is a pretty tough one to dissect, because you got 2 teams that stink and are extremely volatile, and you really don't know what to expect. But here goes nothing. Skill game, brought to you by Sleeper.
The skill game, brought to you by Sleeper.
All right. So Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that focuses on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world, with over 10 million active users in 2025. If you haven't already become one of those 10 million, here's an opportunity to do so. There's a link in the description of this video. Click that link. It'll take you to where you can download the app. Make sure Sleeper is available in your area. It's available in over 30 states in the US. Once you've verified that you are who you say you are, Sleeper is going to give you $20 free for becoming a member of the family. You don't have to do anything for that $20. You're just going to drop it into your account, and you can use it on the app the way that you choose. But what I would advise you to do on top of that $20 is use my promo code LTN to get you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. That's right. It's a dollar for dollar match. You put in 100, they're going to give you an additional 100 on top of the 20 they already gave you. That's $220. You can do a lot of damage with $220 on this app. So let's take a look at what they've got in store for us here on the Sleeper app. So you see, I clicked on NFL. I'm going to click on the first game on Sunday, Commanders and Dolphins, 2 3-7 teams duking it out. And let's see what they have here. So right off the bat, Devin Achane, anytime touchdown. Why not? Right? Jalen Waddle, 78 yards. Yep, going to do that. So right off the bat, you're taking the 2 best players the Dolphins have on offense and expect them to do the things that they do, and probably do them better than they normally do it, because our defense is that bad. Let's see if anything else off the hot picks. The hot picks jump off the screen here. 2 and no interceptions. I really feel like I should take Tua with no interceptions, because the ball is never live for us. But Tua is so ass that I just know if I take Tua with no interceptions, he's going to throw an interception. That's just my luck. Somebody once told me, a wise man once told me, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. So I'm just going to leave Tua off of the ticket altogether. Marcus for 202 yards passing. Feels like he could do that. What did he throw for against the Falcons? See, he only threw for 156, and he was highly effective against the Falcons, was Marcus. I already told you, it feels like it's going to be that kind of game, and less like the Kansas City and Detroit games. Coincidentally enough, both of those games, he threw for 213 yards on the dot. So there's not a big margin of error with Marcus. Either he's going to barely creep over 202 yards or 201 yards, or he's not going to at all. It isn't worth the risk. Somebody said, I put 2 and no interceptions. LOL. I'm tempted to do the same thing. I am so tempted to do the same thing. Let's see. Debo, anytime it feels like if we're going to score, Debo's going to be in the mix. There's only like a handful of guys that can score a touchdown for us. Like that's how bad off we are. It's either Debo, Zach Ertz, Bill, or C-Rod. Those are the four guys that no one else can score a touchdown. Now that Luke McCaffrey is no longer here and available, it feels like those are the only guys that can score a touchdown. Ben Sinnott's not here to steal a 2-yard touchdown from Mariota inside the 5. So it feels like it's only a handful of guys who could actually touch pay dirt. So, and I've learned my lesson with the Commanders this season. Don't do touchdowns with them for the most part. Like they don't fulfill their obligations in that way. So let's go through some more of these different categories and see if we can pull some things out. Not touching Tua's passing yards, even though if they do what we expect them to do, Tua should exceed 240 yards passing in this game. But Tua, again, is so volatile that they could have a really good game. It could be on the ground. Tua's impact could be very minimal, and he doesn't exceed 238 yards passing. So I'm going to stay away from that. Rush yards. Devin Achane, 78.5. I'm pretty sure he's going to hit that. You know what? What's going to be an even, probably safer bet. Let's see. Let's make sure that they didn't go crazy with this. Longest rush. You know I like that. If it's anything under 20 for Devin Achane, I'm going to take it. Yeah, buddy. 17 yards. You slam right. He's going to have a rush over 17 yards. Let's see. Not messing with Mariota's rush yards. He hurt me last week with that, so I'm leaving him alone. Let's go to, we don't know who's going to carry the ball for the Commanders. Last week, I was just sure that C-Rod, they had it at 6.5 attempts for C-Rod. I'm like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. And C-Rod's definitely going to have more than 7 carries. He had 6. So just in case you don't think the people up in Vegas don't know what they're doing, trust me, they know exactly what they're doing. So I'm not touching the attempts because we just don't know who's going to be the hot hand, as DQ likes to say, with this Commanders team this week. Let's go to longest reception and see what they have. Achane could easily have a 15-yard catch. Don't know if they're going to throw him the football enough times, though. They love to throw it to him out of the backfield. Feels like they're going to isolate Bobby on him at least once and get that 15-yard reception. I just think he's going to absolutely murder us this game, right? It feels like he's going to have 175 yards of all-purpose offense and a couple of touchdowns. I'm tempted to put 2 anytime touchdowns for Devin Achane. I'm going to go look and see what that number looks like. None of these receptions, longest receptions, makes me feel warm and fuzzy, especially not for the Commanders. So let's go to longest completion. Tua's was 35 yards. Interesting. Mariota is definitely not going to have a 34-yard completion. He had one last week. I think that was the one to Jalen Lane, if I'm not mistaken. That could easily happen again, by the way, but I don't see it happening. Marcus pass and rush combined at 228. That's interesting. Rush attempts. Chris Rodriguez is at 9.5 this week, so way more than they were last week. Marcus at 5.5. How many times did he run it last week against Detroit? 5 on the button. I wish I had a better handle on. On how many times I thought Marcus was going to run the football. Because they'll start out that first possession. Cliff will really be aggressive with Marcus as a runner. And then, you know, as the game goes on, Marcus runs less and less and less. So hard for me to really get a read on Marcus and what he'll be able to do in this game. Could Marcus throw 2 touchdown passes? Huh. That's interesting. Who the hell would they be to? But feels like if we score 2 touchdowns in this game, 3 touchdowns in this game, the vast majority of them are going to be on the ground. That's what it feels like. But I don't know if Marcus, I'm interested. Does he have it? Yeah, he threw 2 last week. Okay. One to Ben Sinnott, the other to Debo. Okay. And then he did it against Atlanta. Did he do it against the Raiders? No, one against the Raiders. And that was the Luke touchdown late. Okay. Huh. I wonder if he could throw another 2 tomorrow. The Dolphins stink, man. Like, I don't want to sit here and like build up their defense like it's this juggernaut. Like, Marcus can throw 2 touchdown passes in this game. The thing that I struggle with is how close to the end zone do we get? Does he end up having to, you know, do we have the chance to run it in? Because if we do, then that might take away the opportunity for him to throw 2 touchdown passes. All right, I'll come back to that one. I actually like that one this week. Like Tua throwing 2 touchdown passes is going to happen, but the multiplier on that isn't really worth me putting it on the ticket necessarily. Pass attempts, Marcus, how many did he have? 22 last week against Detroit. Again, that's a byproduct of us not getting stops and Detroit, you know, just absolutely dominating time of possession. If this game goes like a normal game, Marcus will throw the football more than 27 times. But we can't be assured that we're going to get enough opportunities for Marcus to throw the football. We know Cliff wants to throw it. So that'll be interesting. All right, Riley Patterson for 3 extra points, meaning they score at least 3 touchdowns. I'm all over that. Dolphins are definitely scoring 3 touchdowns in this game. I don't see us relying on Matt Gay to kick 2 field goals. Tua for no interception. Boy, that keeps calling my name. I swear it does. Like, Louie, do it. I swear that one keeps calling my name. 18 Mariota completions in this game. I could see that happening. Let's go to receptions. Their best guy. Where's Washington? Malik Washington is going to have 4 catches in this game. We're going to struggle with him in this game. And they never have a number for J-Mac. He should be up here in receptions. He's a guy that catches it out of bounds. I mean, I probably wouldn't have taken him in this game, but I remember the Kansas City game. Marcus was going to him a ton early in that ball game. He ended up being our leading receiver that game. Like, he should be on this list of guys, and maybe he will be as you get closer to game time tomorrow. So instead of me pigeonholing myself into who has to score, I think I'm going to go with Marcus throwing 2 touchdown passes, and then that'll wrap up this ticket. Marcus for 2 touchdown passes. And yeah, not going to put 2 up here. That brought it down, actually. And then Tua for no interceptions. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. There it is. Look at this thing. This thing is full of Dolphin players. I got one Commander item up here. This is sad. So Tua for no interceptions. Waddle for more than 79 yards receiving. Riley Patterson for at least 3 extra points, meaning they'll score at least 3 touchdowns. Devin Achane for a touchdown at any point. Matter of fact, let's see. He's going to score twice. We'll just boost him up to 2. So Waddle for more than 78 yards. Riley Patterson for at least 3 extra points. Devin Achane to score 2 touchdowns at any point in the game. Devin Achane, longest rush of 16 yards, so 16 and a half, so 17-yard rush. Malik Washington to have at least 4 catches in this game. And Mariota to throw for 2 touchdown passes. That sounds like a winner chicken dinner. I've already got 7 here. Feel like I might as well just throw on another one to fill out the ticket and get to 8, because that'll probably give me a nice boost from a multiplier standpoint if you fill up the entire ticket. So let's just see what we can find. I don't want to do anything from a sack perspective. Let's see. Extra points. Let's see what they got. Matt Gay. Yeah, no, not 3. Maybe if it was at 1.5, I would have done it, but no, not 3. Can Marcus stay clean for the 2nd consecutive week from an interception standpoint? Interesting. I don't think he can. I don't think he can. Bill just needs 1 catch. We just don't throw it to him, though. What if this game Cliff finally gives him a screen or something to catch? He just needs 1 catch, man. He's had at least 1 catch in almost every game, but coincidentally enough, he catches the ball in games in which Jaden plays, not games in which Marcus plays. So, again, and you look at his numbers, he had 1 against the Raiders. Marcus did play in that game. But this is when they were still trying to figure out how to use them. 2 against Atlanta. That's when they started throwing him like screens and, things of that nature. Then the Chargers game was like the apex of his season, throwing him the football, running the football. Then Jaden, and of course, Jaden was in then. Jaden was in for the Bears game. Jaden was in for the Dallas game. Then he got hurt. Then Bill did nothing from a catch standpoint against the Chiefs. Jaden was back the following week against Seattle. He had a catch. Then Marcus was back last week, and he had no catches. So it doesn't even do anything. So you know what? I'm just going to stay right here because that was a 2 times multiplier, and it didn't do anything for the ticket. So we're just going to stay here. This is actually a really good ticket. The only thing that could get me, I feel like, and I don't care, is Achane with 2 touchdowns instead of 1. Let's see what difference it made. So it's at $230 basically. See if I bust it down back to 1. Yeah, it's like a $60 difference. So I want that $60. So yeah. Somebody said, don't do it, Lou. Don't do it. No, I'm not going to put Bill for a catch. That's definitely going to be the thing that stops this ticket from hitting, right? I'm not going to do it because he probably won't catch the football at all on Sunday. So yeah, I'm not putting it up there. Don't worry. Now, I still haven't learned my lesson because if that I was not going to do it. But if the multiplier was high enough, I wanted to hit it to see how much it would. If that would have jumped this thing up to 500 and something bucks, I probably would have done it. If it would have jumped it up to like 3 something, I wouldn't have done it because it's too risky, right? It's not worth it. But I digress. This looks like a winning ticket. Another thing that could get me is Tua throwing an interception, right? Of course, of course he's going to throw one this week, right? But if he stays clean, I don't see how any of this doesn't hit, including Marcus throwing 2 touchdown passes. Anyhow, winner, winner, chicken dinner. That looks like. Let's see what happens. $229 potentially on the line here if this ticket hits. All Dolphins and then Marcus throwing 2 touchdown passes. Oh, man. We're down bad. Submit. All right. Hold on. Says, you may not choose this combination of picks with these players. Why not? Why can't I do this? You didn't stop me. Let me try and sub it again and see if it tells me the same thing. Usually when it takes that long, it's something going wrong. Normally, if you can't do something, they'll block it. Yeah, sometimes it'll do this, though. You may not choose this combination of picks with these players. I wonder if I got to take off one of these H-Hand things. So I took off the touchdowns for H-Hand. This ticket is definitely hitting with H-Hand off of the touchdowns. With just the longest rush. He's scoring a touchdown, though. Like, that feels automatic in this game. There's no way he's not scoring a touchdown. He's going to score twice. I know he is. I'm going to submit this like this. And if it accepts it, I'm going to cancel it. And I'm going to put him back on this thing with the 2 touchdowns. Let me see if that's the hang up. I'm trying to figure out. That was the hang up. Yeah, I'm definitely reusing this. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to cancel this ticket. I love this free cancellation within the first 5 minutes. Cancel that one. I'm going to add him back to this ticket and see if they'll let me do it. And if that's the hang up, then I got to make a decision between the longest rush or the 2 touchdowns. I think I want the 2 touchdowns instead, to be honest with you. Because I know he's going to score against us. Let me see if I can add on the anytime touchdowns. And I want it to be 2. They may be saving me from killing my own ticket. You know what I mean? Sometimes when there's divine intervention like this, they're like, I'm trying to save you from yourself. You know what? Oh, what the hell? And they did it for me. So the app just shut down on me. So that means it wasn't meant to be. So I'm going to go back in, input all of those things that I just had. I'm going to leave the 2 touchdowns off the ticket. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's like $176. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. Once again, use my promo code LTN to get you 100% match in deposit of your first deposit up to $100. Let's go win some money, man. I was 3 points away last night from $1,200. Never trust a man named Miles, ever.
The Skill Game, brought to you by Sleeper.
All right. So that is going to do it for me, your man Louie T. Remember, the Kings will be live tomorrow for this game. For the first time in Commanders Kings history, the Kings will be live for an actual game with you all. We want to see all of you there in attendance. Trying to get this stream up over 3,000 people watching at once. If at all possible. I know half of you are like, bro, I'm not watching this game. I don't care. I don't care. And I get it. I got better things to do with my Saturday morning. I'm sleeping in. I'm going to church. I get all of that. And you're not wrong for any of it. But if you are watching this game, come kick it with us. And it's going to be the same thing for me after the game, hit Bleacher Report. Then I'm coming straight to you. We're going to break it all down, talk about what happened in this game, things that we saw, things that we liked, things that we didn't like. And then also we're going to start peeking at the bye week as well. So lots to discuss tomorrow. And hopefully you'll be here chopping it up with the kid post game like normal. But in any event, that's going to do it for me. And, I'll be watching some of the 1 o'clock games, too, as we're talking. You know how that goes. I'll have the 2 TVs up with all the games. So we'll just kick it for a little while tomorrow. Come kick it with the kid. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me. Your man, Louie T, here on the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. And, of course, the skill game brought to you by Sleeper. You guys have a good one. See you tomorrow. And obviously, when we go to overtime, we will take a look at the skill game and see if the ticket hit or not. You guys have a good one. Peace.